everyone.
Hello.
Hi, all our lovely industry friends and everyone else watching. We're so excited to be here with you today on this long 9-hour journey of exploring WebXR for brands. And this is something that we're particularly excited about. For people that don't know me, I've been in the industry for about 7 years, doing a lot of like messaging around the value of immersive technologies to different types of audiences and decision makers and policymakers. And what excites me the most about this technology is how it resonates with different audiences in more or less the same way for across every industry. And kind of where that starts is empathy building with the users and with the audience. And a lot of that resonates in the brand marketing and advertising worlds, which then again translates to everything else that we do in every other industry vertical. So, but this is where we believe it starts. You know, brands have made, you know, initial investments in this technology from the early days of more of the when the popularity of this technology like started coming out in like 2015, 2014. And so we owe them a lot of the credit actually to start experimenting and innovating with this technology back in the earlier days to provide us some kind of baseline use cases for the adoption and the application of this technology. So when it comes to the metaverse, you know, brands have been picking up steam and exploring how they'll be represented and how their relationships will evolve with their customers. And there are many that have been doing some really cool campaigns and activations to test the market and set the stage for what is coming. And recently we've heard of brands like Gucci, Nike, Taco Bell, Vogue, Tommy Hilfiger, and others. Starbucks, just
Odyssey.
Yeah, Starbucks Odyssey. Lots of others making headlines for the experimental immersive strategies that they've executed. You know, from the introduction of TV, the internet, and smartphone, brands are always the first to invest in innovative mediums for new ways to engage with customers. And immersive technologies are just the next evolution in these communication mediums and connectivity mediums. So it just makes sense for them to move to these other platforms. So discussing the successes and takeaways from brands' years of investments in immersive technology is valuable for all industries that are looking for best practices in creating for immersive mediums. And brands are also the key to unlocking consumer adoption. And we're here to support in that effort with discussions on how to achieve success in both the immediate and the long term. And so I also wanted to introduce my co-host, Julie Smithson, who will be documenting some of the incredible takeaways from the discussions, and we'll be presenting them at the end of the day during her sense-making sessions. So thanks, Julie, for doing
no problem. And hello to everybody. Welcome again to the WebXR Brand Summit. And like I've done in some of the past events, I'll be doing a bit of sense-making, taking some notes. Hopefully you can stick around with us today, but at 7 o'clock tonight, it's gonna be a long day we're gonna spend together. But I'll be taking notes and then do a presentation with you know, the key takeaways from today on what all these great panels are going to be talking about. And we have so many amazing panels. Maybe we should, you know, do a quick highlight.
Do a little highlight.
Who are we going to hear from today?
Yeah, some of the interesting things that we're going to be talking about is like the key pinnacles of what creates success for brands who are thinking about incorporating immersive technology in their strategies. So topics like product placement and immersive worlds. What does that look like? You know, what's the responsibility towards the consumers in doing that? New types of engagement metrics to learn more about consumer behaviors and considerations that need to be taken to, again, engage responsibly and gain that trust from your audience.
Avatars,
yeah. Avatars is always a fun one to talk about.
Big question when we start to talk about digital identity and what that means when you start to add an avatar application to your experience for the brand. And that leads to other really cool things, like the word phygital. And that's something maybe we'll hear a lot today. This is going to be a word you're going to hear over and over again. The word phygital is a a blend of a word of physical and digital. And this is where brands will really start to get into this type of behavior for consumers to be able to buy digital goods as well as physical ones.
Yeah, I know it's important for brands to understand that what they are doing now isn't for a loss when they are, transitioning to different types of digital and virtual technologies. But, how do you strategically incorporate that in what you're currently doing to make what you're currently doing even more valuable and even more engaging to the customer? So how do you create that kind of holistic strategy that doesn't leave the brick and mortar out, but helps transform that and evolve that into what it might be to create that kind of connected virtual physical hybrid experience. And that's what we'll be talking a lot about, that because we realize the value of being present in person, but there's also a great value to being virtual as well and having that digital and virtual presence. So how do we make it make sense and make it appetizing for the greater population? What else? What it means to connect virtual and physical brand strategies, what it takes to drive consumer adoption. We have to meet people, consumers, where they're at, where their current understanding is of the technology, and how adept they are to actually putting on a headset, or maybe it's not putting on a headset. Maybe it's from their PC, maybe it's from their mobile device, and that's totally okay, because that's what WebXR is here for. We're here to provide. It is here to provide accessibility, and we want to make sure that we are taking on the right strategies for the appropriate applications of the technology, depending on what you, the brand, wants to achieve, depending on the demographics that you're looking to reach. All of that matters. And so we'll be discussing, what's appropriate for what type of goals, what type of audience.
Deployment
Deployment
is key.
Yeah. How to create effective revenue streams through these mediums. We want to make sure that we are moving past the novelty aspect of these mediums. So however cool they might be, which they are, we want to make sure that we're driving value for both the companies and brands that are investing in this technology, as well as their consumers, because that's obviously the end goal of any investment into any type of technology or strategy. So driving that ROI or that ROX, as Julie
Return on experience.
Return on experience
ROX.
is very important. It's going to be increasingly important for brands as we continue to kind of help educate on these strategies. And then, talking about IP and the IP landscape is obviously going to be increasingly important and really an untouched subject.
Just like payment rails, now we'll be talking more about fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies and how blockchain and NFTs, Web3 start to play in the brand strategy. There is so much to learn today. We've got a couple of minutes left, and then we're going to be introducing our first presentation with Amy Peck.
So we hope to come out of this with valuable strategies and takeaways that have worked for how to prepare for success in the future of the immersive web, or what I like to call the portal to the metaverse. And Amy Peck is one of my first connections in this industry. I think she was actually on the first panel that I had ever been on at Sundance Film Festival, which was awesome. And since then, she's been such an ally of me and a supporter of the WebXR summits and Polly's initiatives that we've all been a part of. So it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce Amy Peck of EndeavorXR as we talk about parsing the metaverse hype. Welcome, Amy.